going to be making a watery nighttime soap today. I'm using Celestial Waters from Brambleberry. It is discontinued, unfortunately, but it does smell absolutely amazing. I didn't have 2 full bottles because I have used this in other products. I've used them in bath bombs and like hand soap at home. It really, really smells good. So it's kind of sad that they did discontinue it. However, I'm going to be using it, and I didn't, like I said, have 2 full bottles, so I'm making up the difference with a little bit of Coastal Rain. That's from Brambleberry as well. I'm going to be doing this one upside down, so I'm going to have like the top poured first. I have these little impression mats, and let me get it out. They're little kind of windy waves. I've used this with my Indigo natural soaps because I really like what this looks like. However, it is plastic, and these are a bear to get off because you have to put them in the freezer. It's not like silicone where you can just peel it off. These you have to put the soap in the freezer to be able to get that plastic off. So anyway, those are going to go in the bottom. My plan is to have a layer of black with these embeds in it. I made these earlier. I have a moon and I have a star. So one will go in one and one will go in the other, and then it'll just be black. So I have my oil divided out. This is half the lye, half the lye, half the oil, and the other oil is over there. So I'll do that first. This fragrance, the 2 bottles I have actually say something different. One of them says may cause ricing. One of them says may cause acceleration. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen, and that's why another reason why I'm pouring it upside down first, because I would like to have some swirls in the bottom, because I want to have that dark sky and then kind of some watery colors on basically the bottom of the soap. And I have these little extruded pieces, so to speak, of soap. I had actually made these for another project, decided not to use them. So I'm going to use them kind of like a seagrass. So I will, once I pour the sea portion, I'll go ahead and push those in. Another reason doing it upside down is I didn't want to have these standing up. It's going to be a lot easier to push them in from the top while the soap is setting up. So anyway, see how the fragrance behaves. I'm using my slow moving recipe. Don't know if that'll help because ricing, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes it happens when you don't think it's going to. And sometimes it doesn't when you do think it's going to. So it's kind of one of those finicky things. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Everything poured, and it did rice just a little bit. So you saw me pull the stick blender back out. It wasn't anything that was awful, because I've had some really awful racing, but I did see just a little bit of those balls forming up. Went ahead and stick blended those little pieces of ricing out, and it was great. It didn't accelerate any. I was able to get some in the pot swirls in there. I mean, it did set up faster than something that's super fluid, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with this. So I did get some in the pot swirls in there. Very light colors. I used a green and a blue, both of them from Nurture Soap Supplies, Synergy and Tropical Teal. So the fragrance is supposed to discolor to ivory. The Coastal Rain says it discolors to a yellow. So I didn't want to add too much color in there. So hopefully we will have a little bit of yellow. So we'll have some yellow and some greens and some blues. If not, we'll just have some pretty colors in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the oven to oven process, and we'll come back tomorrow to open it up and cut it open and see what it looks like. I just took these out of the freezer since they had those tops on them. They've been in there for, gosh, probably 4 or 5 hours. So anytime you're using something that has any plastic in it, silicone's great, but anything that has any type of plastic, whether it's your whole mold or individual ones or an impression mat like this, you need to put it in the freezer, because otherwise you're never gonna get them off. So I'm gonna use a sharp little tool right here to pop the edge up, and then I'll peel them off. Once I've peeled it off, I'm gonna set it up on end so these can come to room temperature. I don't wanna cut them right now because they're with soap and humidity, because the condensation from being in the freezer, they need to come to room temperature. So I will do that and then come back after they are to room temperature and cut them. This lovely soap, and it's still, if you can see it, there's still a little bit of condensation on it, but it is getting late and it's taking forever. This has been sitting here for 3 hours and there's still some condensation on it. Anyway, I've got dinner in the oven and I need to get this done. So we're gonna go ahead and cut it, see what it looks like. But here's that top. Isn't that pretty?